What's up, garden nerds? Today we're gonna nerd out over thinning peaches. It's a very important thing to thin your peaches. We're gonna talk about why, and we're gonna talk about how. Come on, let's go. All right, guys, here we are in front of my huge Florida Prince peach tree. This thing is massive. It's about 4 years old, and this year it has a fruit set, which is awesome, but there's way too many peaches. You can get up here and you can see all of these. I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of peaches. The whole thing is just completely loaded with peaches. So this is not good. You do not want to have this many peaches on your peach tree. Why do you not want to have this many peaches on your peach tree? Well, the first thing is it overloads the tree. The weight of the peaches, the peach tree cannot handle. If I left all of these peaches on, by May, June, this peach tree would break, it would fall over, it would be just completely to the ground. It is not good for the tree to support these many peaches. So you need to thin them. That's reason number one. Reason number two is that the tree cannot supply that many nutrients to so many peaches. There's only so much energy and nutrients in a single tree. And so if you don't thin the peaches, the tree is going to be trying to feed hundreds and hundreds of peaches. And what's that going to do? Well, that's going to leave you with hard, dry, small little peaches that aren't sweet, that aren't juicy, and that don't taste good. So if you want to increase the size of your peaches, if you want to have better tasting peaches, if you want to have healthier peaches with more nutrients in them, you need to thin the peaches so that the tree only has to supply so many peaches with those nutrients. And also for the tree itself, if you overload the tree with so many peaches and it's trying so hard to give all those nutrients to all those peaches, the tree is going to be more susceptible to disease, and it's not going to be a healthy tree, and the tree is not going to last very long as well. So for the overall health of the tree, you need to thin your peaches. So when we're talking about thinning your peaches, there's three things that you can do, three things that you need to be doing. The first thing is you need to prune the tree correctly in the winter when it loses all its leaves, when it's just sitting there dormant. If you trim it correctly, well, you're going to have stronger branches that can support all the peaches, and then you're also not going to have as many peaches each year. That's the first step. The second thing is, and I just heard this and it makes perfect sense to me, I heard it from a local grower here in Arizona. I have always waited in the past until the peaches are all this size and then I thin them. But what I heard is when you see the flower buds come, you can go and remove those flower buds. That way you remove them before the tree starts giving any energy to these peaches. By the time they're this size, the tree has already had to exert a certain amount of energy to get them to this size. If you remove the buds, they never get to this size and the tree never has to exert that much energy, and they can put more energy into the remaining peaches. And then the third thing is, well, even if you remove buds, you're still gonna have too many peaches. So the third thing is just to come in here and to remove them. A lot of people ask me, okay, how much space do I need between each peach? Or how much peaches do I leave? The rule of thumb is about 6 inches. You can do this. That's how you can measure. From here to here, if you leave about that much room, that's gonna be good. That will allow the branches to be able to hold up and sustain those many peaches, and the peaches will get to a good size. They'll be nice, they'll be juicy, they'll be healthy. You'll have the peaches that you want to have. So about 6 inches between each peach. And when we're talking about removing the peaches, a lot of times you have to be careful, because if you pull down, a lot of times you will strip the bark, and that's not going to leave the tree in a healthy state. So if you pull upwards and you kind of twist, they'll come right off. And you can see, like I said, I mean, there's hundreds. You want to remove all the small looking ones that aren't developed yet. Also, a lot of times you'll get peaches, let's see if I can find one. You'll get peaches that kind of clump together like twins. Suddenly I can't see any, but you'll want to remove those. Any funky looking ones, you just want to go to town. And I know, especially if your peach tree is young, if you haven't had peaches on it before, it can be really heartbreaking to remove this many peaches. But believe me, you will be happy you did. Your tree will be happy you did. And in the future, when you have a happy, healthy tree that gives you peaches forever, you'll be happy. Here's what I was talking about. These peaches kind of grow together. There's not anything necessarily wrong with that, but let's leave other healthier, better peaches. Let's remove these ones if we can. All right guys, so in about 30 seconds, I got this many peaches and I haven't even gotten started. So do it often, do it early, get them off of there as quickly as possible so that the tree is not giving energy into these things. You want to give it energy into the ones that you're going to leave. Don't be scared, just do it. You'll be happy you did it. Let's take a look at a few of my other trees, some apricots and whatnot, and see how it looks. Okay, so this is my Aprium, my Flavor Delight Aprium. It has a decent fruit set this year. It's not as big, and as you can tell, the fruit set is not as great. Some trees give a huge fruit set. The Florida Prince always puts on tons of peaches. Others not so much, so it's a lot easier to go in and thin this one. You can see it's a little less than 6 inches, but I think that's okay because apricots don't get as big, so the branches can support more fruit. If I come over here, I'm getting these right as they're coming into fruit, so that's good. I'm not letting the tree put energy into them. You can see 1, 2, 3, I think that's good spacing. These two, again, it's not quite 6 inches, but because apriums are not gonna get as big, it can support it. Coming down here, I'm just gonna remove this one, leave those two. Here, even though these are side by side, because they're the only two on the branch, I'm gonna leave. If you look up here, these two are right next to each other. They're probably gonna crowd each other. Real heavy on this upward trending branch, so I'm just going to remove the smaller one. If you look here, I'm going to remove this one in the middle, and we can keep those two. So you get the idea. You're basically not letting them crowd. You're basically making sure that the branch is going to have enough strength to hold them up, and if you don't think it's going to, you want to remove them. And here we are now in front of my early grand peach. This is a bigger, more mature peach tree. It never puts on the fruit set that the Florida Prince does. The Florida Prince and this early grand are the same age. This one never puts on as much fruit, and it's a mature tree. And so I don't thin too much at all on this one because it's a mature tree, the branches are strong, and it's not putting on that many peaches. Here you can see, okay, yeah, these are way too close. So I'm gonna come in here, gonna remove these two. This one's nice and big already, so I'm gonna leave that. I'll remove this one behind it, and then probably this one right here. These two are side by side. This one looks bigger, so I'm gonna pop off this one. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what we're doing, how we're thinning, and why we're thinning. All right, and so now here we are in front of my other apricot tree. But one tip for you guys, you can see I have all these peaches and apriums and apricots. A lot of people like to do certain things with them, pickle them, eat them. I really don't like to do anything with them, except for use them as mulch. I throw them down, I let them work into the soil like I throw all my garden trimmings down onto the ground. You can do the same with all of the baby peaches and apricots and apriums. Throw them down, let them feed the soil. All right guys, that is it for today's video. Right now is the perfect time where you probably have tons of baby peaches or any type of stone fruit on your trees. Go out, make sure they're thin properly, about 6 inches, just like this. Make sure they're thin properly so that come summertime, you have awesome, big, juicy, healthy peaches. You'll be happy you did. Thank you for watching as always, guys. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and as always, if you have any ideas or anything you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Thanks, guys.